You know that feeling when your favorite brand really gets you? Deliver that feeling to your customers every time. Memorable moments like these are key to building your business and your brand. Klaviyo turns your customer data into real-time connections across AI-powered email, SMS, and more, making every moment count, so you can continue to build smarter, more meaningful relationships with your customers. Build smarter digital relationships with your customers and make every moment count with Klaviyo. Learn more at klaviyo.com/BFCM.
This Halloween, ghoul all out with Instacart. Whether you're hunting for the perfect costume, eyeing that giant bag of candy, or casting spells with eerie decor, we've got it all in one place. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum $10 per order. Service fees, other fees, and additional terms apply. Instacart, bringing the store to your door this Halloween.
Oh my, what a week. What a week, what a week. Because obviously we're going to be recapping the 96th Annual Academy Awards shortly with our awards correspondent, Rebecca Bregman. But, running the risk of having a podcast as long as the Academy Awards, there's a lot of shit going on this week. The biggest story of this week, it's kind of a tie. I feel like we need to get the Rust shooting out of the way. Because
I don't even think it's a tie.
Ago.
I don't even think it's a tie, but go ahead.
Hannah Gutierrez Reed was found guilty of whatever she was found guilty of. She's found guilty of bringing live ammunition on set and causing the death of somebody, which she should have been. And I'm curious to see how this will impact Alec Baldwin's case or cases moving forward, because to me, as a person who doesn't really care enough about Alec Baldwin either way, it would seem like this is the person who should bear the brunt of these allegations, obviously. And she's going to, and I believe she's going to go to jail.
Yeah, it's bad. And this is like one more nail in the coffin, and then they're going up to him. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing, is like when they're bopping their way over to Alec, like it's like she's out of the way, and now it's like, okay, all eyes on you, buddy.
But you know what still hasn't happened yet? A producer of the movie saying we're not going to make it. That still hasn't happened yet.
Why are they thinking that they're going to release this movie?
I don't know. Maybe there are more bodies buried somewhere. I have no idea why this movie isn't just done. Someone died on it. It's cursed. Why are you still talking about it? Move on. Now, we've spoken about someone deceased respectfully. Now we're going to speak semi-respectfully about someone who we're not sure is deceased or not. And that's the Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton.
Dominic?
What the fuck is going on in the United Kingdom right now with this photo scandal?
We need Kristen Meinzer. We do need her. Meinzer. This is like unprecedented, not to use our own word, but like, in my opinion, this is like scandal beyond.
And for no reason.
For no reason.
What I mean? It's sort of like, so the queen dies and basically all hell breaks loose. Maybe the queen was connected to God and is just like, if I'm gone, fuck y'all.
She was holding everyone together.
Kate Middleton has a quote unquote planned abdominal surgery in January that no one knew anything about. So it was planned, but they didn't tell the public. She has it and then just disappears from the public eye. Rumors start circulating everywhere. And then last week, she's seen in a car with her mother for the first time. We're like, okay.
Looking like Weekend at Bernie's, by the way.
Yeah, sure. Like definitely looking like someone recovering from surgery. People thought and still think she had a Brazilian butt lift or she's had cancer.
She did not have a Brazilian
Christopher Michael,
butt lift.
I want you to go on the internet and look at the theories, the reasoned theories that she has had a BBL.
Can you imagine if
she shows up looking like Morphine from Drag Race? Yeah, that would be great.
Those cute little like what are they, like the little like Chanel like little 2-piece suits, you know what I mean, like the little pencil skirt, and it's just like humongous huge back booty part.
Great.
Like I would scream.
Wouldn't it be great? She just showed up with a new ass and Prince William looked at the crowd and just said thanks because you paid for it. I'm a tap that.
Oh my God. If she was just cheeked up, as they say.
So Mother's Day in the UK was a few days ago. She releases a photo with her 3 tots. And then people, it's so confusing and weird, but people start noticing that the photo was edited a little bit. It looked like her right hand was blurred and Princess Charlotte's sleeve was a little shorter on one side. I don't even understand why anyone would take the time to do that. But because there was evidence that this photo was doctored, several photo agencies pulled the photo and won't show, which I don't understand what pulling the photo means in the age of the internet. Like, I can see Drake's dick whenever I want. It doesn't matter how much he thinks he took it off the internet.
No, but you know what it is? I'm actually, and like, bear with me, but I actually think this is like a watershed moment for like AI photos, because they are admitting that this has been like put through the filters that you put yourself through, that we post on Instagram.
Right.
And like, that they're like, no, we can't in good conscience say that this is real and that it's news because they've doctored it so much. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I actually do think that this is a good thing that this is happening, because it's showing that like the media at large is like, this photo is not 100% authentic, therefore we cannot use it.
They have my respect, because I have no problem admitting that when Chris and I go out for dinner, we always take photos, but I don't post them until 48 hours later because I need to try at least 11 different filters on them and give myself some sort of Bradley Cooper prosthetic or
like erase your nose completely.
Right. Like, I want to make sure I'm not recognized by anyone in public through these photos, because I don't look like any of the pictures on my Instagram.
This was not, in my opinion, tied with the Rust, like, you know, sentencing. I was like, all I've been seeing
the Kate story is bigger.
It's the biggest thing in the world right now. It's all I see on the internet. It's all I see. Am I only looking at people's Instagram? Sure. But like, it is everywhere. Like, here's all the parts where it's edited. It's like the Zapruder film. Like, this photo has been chopped, sliced, everything. I'm serious though.
I want to end that story with you equating this with the Zapruder film and move on. I'm not going to say anything more brilliant than that.
But why did they do it? Why did they do it?
We're going to find out. We're going to find out. I can tell you right now, the royal family wants to give an air of as much normalcy as possible because their grandma died. The UK's grandma died, and they've been desperate to just sort of reel it all back in. And not 2 seconds later, the guy who takes her job gets cancer. And by the way, I hope I'm not right about this. I think he's in pretty bad shape. Like,
really?
there's some stories coming out on the internet today that he's not being seen in public because he is a little worse for the wear. So obviously we hope that's not true. We love the royal family, but every week this story changes. By the time you're listening to it now, this information might be out of date because we're about a day and a half out of publishing our podcast. So who knows? I mean, that's
a lot. And then then there's William, and then his wife is like also unclear if she's alive, dead, okay, not. And then it's like, that's it.
By this time next week, the king and queen of the United Kingdom might be Piers Morgan and Meghan Markle. We have no idea how this is going to fan out.
Prince George is going to be like, what was that? Like the boy king or something?
Yes, that'll be him. And then Kate releasing an apology statement, which says, oh, like all amateur photographers, I futz with blah, blah, blah. It's like, what? Why are you even just go back to being quiet and people thinking that you're dead instead of doing more weird things to make them think that you really are dead and that Princess Charlotte is the one releasing all of these images.
It's weird. It's really weird. I don't have it's bad. Like, I have bad feelings. I'm nervous.
I do too. I too, in the words of Rachel Dolezal, I too am nervous. Speaking of crazy.
When did she say that?
I don't know. I just always equate I too with Rachel Dolezal. I have no idea. Well, excuse me, Dolezal.
Thank you.
Jonathan Van Ness, they of Queer Eye fame, not a good week for them because allegations of on-set misbehavior, cruelty, rudeness, and narcissism are flying about.
Dominic, it was only a matter of time.
I only have one inside source.
I have a lot.
And the one inside source I have, who is someone that liaised with JVN on the regular, said that his experience with them was not that. to be honest. But that
that's good.
perhaps, perhaps there had been a little bit of baked in jealousy from the rest of the cast, because obviously from the jump, this was the Sean Hayes or the Megan Mullally of the cast.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like,
Course,
this was their star,
Of course.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Just Jack.
Yeah, that was
just Jack. Yeah, of course. Yes.
So that's the grain of salt I'm going to take all of this with, because he was sort of the breakout of that cast when they first came out. Of course, they've all gone on to other. Tan's got his own shows on Netflix. Karamo's got his own. Everyone has their own little niche.
Of course.
JVN probably, got a little more press than them in the beginning. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Not surprised that all these reports are coming out, because through the grapevine, I've heard like, oh, it's like fine, but like, ooh, sometimes. And I'm like, ooh, and yeah.
And I think that too. But then, and I'm being serious, aren't there people in the world that may say that about us over the time that we've been
I'm
like,
sure.
everything is fine, but actually, I don't even think some people would be that nice. They would just be like, she's a nightmare, period.
I think that, yeah. I mean, it's crazy because do I think there's like real bad abuse allegation? Like, no. Do I think it's like diva behavior? Absolutely. But like, also welcome to reality TV.
Yeah.
I know everyone wants to say, I know that everyone wants to say the producers are so evil, but guess what? The talent is just as bad, if not worse.
Blame it on the edit. What a great segue, because that's a RuPaul song. And speaking of diva behavior, Ru's biography came out last week, and there are some unusual things in there. Like, he doesn't like Madonna because she gave him a dirty look at a club 40 years ago. This doesn't help Ru at all. It doesn't. He's moving too far away from Earth Mother. I know there's a fracking joke in there by calling her Earth Mother, but I don't think that the biography did what he wanted it to. It's actually, I feel like it has turned people off more than it has turned them on. And
correct.
I hate that, because I'm an old school fag and I love RuPaul. I mean, she's Judy Garland level to me. I don't care what anyone says. And I'll always put respect on her name, no matter how hard Ru tries to remove it.
Well, I will first say that as someone who has been personally crucified on the internet for not knowing Madonna's real name being Madonna, I will say that take a look in the mirror, everyone that loves RuPaul so much, because he fucking hates her. Like, he fucking hates her, and you still watch Drag Race. So there you go.
He does.
Second of all, as obviously I listened to Glamorous Trash, Chelsea Devantez's podcast, and she reviewed this book. She has also read all of his other books, even the ones that were like, and I use the word books in quotes because they're mainly like, here's a picture book and I'm like going to tell you one story and then like, wear this heel. Like, you know what I mean? None of them are this status of memoir. And she said that basically like most of the stories that are in this memoir, she's already read in the other books.
I have heard that as well.
Yeah. Which is kind of upsetting. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you already told me all of this. And apparently the book ends in the 90s.
Which is bizarre to me, because there was no Drag Race in the 90s. But also, remember he released that post. Remember in like October when he finished the book and he went on Instagram and cried and he's like, this has been 3 years. This is my baby. And it's all recycled stuff.
And you guys all still love him. So I don't know what to tell you.
Oprah Winfrey. Heard of her?
She's on her back foot. She's on her back foot. And
Oprah
for the first
Winfrey.
time ever, in my opinion.
Oprah Winfrey is doing a special about the Ozempic craze for ABC. And this is what I want to say to Oprah Winfrey. Can you stop? Like, now, we'll talk about on the Oscars recap. We think we're done with Bradley Cooper for a minute. Why don't you and Bradley Cooper go off grid together for a little while? I don't want you to do the Ozempic documentary. I don't. I've already gone in my life through you doing the documentaries about everything else that you yo-yoed with. You are the last person whose input I want on weight loss. That's who you've become. I appreciate everything you've done for everyone and everything and the planet and literacy and television and everything. I don't want you talking about weight anymore. You're 70. You look great. There's no purple fabric left in Hollywood. Sit down. Don't you own an island somewhere? Go there. Go there. Eat salads. Take your shots. Do whatever you need to do. And bring Bradley Cooper and his mother with you, please. Hello, I'm Oprah.
Yeah, It's really bad. And she like she's really fucking up for the first time, in my opinion, in like most of her career. Where it's not like, I understand why she's doing this. Like, you bought Weight Watchers and like made it this whole thing, and you did the I Love Bread commercials, which in my opinion are the best commercials to ever exist because they're fucking hilarious.
They're definitely top 10.
And now you're jumping off that bandwagon to get on the Ozempic bandwagon. It's one of the first times that I'm like, Oprah, what are you doing?
Because people have spent billions of dollars on things because you said it was working for you. And then it reversed and didn't work for you. But all these other people already spent billions of dollars. I can't believe I'm going to say this to Oprah Winfrey. I really can't. But you now coming up with the 20th weight loss measure that you're going to promote, Oprah, how dare you? I mean, how dare you?
Yeah,
you're still on the Weight Watchers board. How dare you?
Remember, she did like Atkins back in the day, right? Didn't she do
did all of it? She did all of it.
She really did. Was Weight Watchers with the points? That's the points, right?
Yeah.
This is like 2 points. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Wow. It's really been long. It's been around for that long.
By the way, speaking of weight loss, we haven't been talking about this. Richard Simmons has resurfaced on social media recently.
I saw that.
This to me is the feel-good story of the fucking year, that he is just communicating with his fans again. And every day or every other day, he posts a story about his life on his Facebook page. And they're always so heartwarming. He is one of maybe 10 celebrities who is actually genuine. I mean, could this be possible? He seems like a genuinely, I've met him a billion times when I produced talk shows over the years. He was always very flirty, very funny, but very, very kind. You could never see like any sort of sinister person existing underneath there like you can with most people in Hollywood. So I hope we can see him again. He is 75 though.
But I think he's bopping back up because aren't they making a movie? Someone's like making a movie that he did not
Pauly
approve.
Shore. And then he released like a short film, which wasn't insulting to Richard, but was also, it was ridiculous. Like,
how can you not say it's him? Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, no. And it was like, Pauly Shore for months was like, a lot of people tell me I look like Richard Simmons. Girl, you don't. Like, who told you that? Someone drunk told you that. You don't. I'm like, I think he's trying to be earnest about it and have a Pauly Shore moment, but I hope they don't make a movie.
No, but it's also like, I'm sorry. It's fucked up for you to be like, I'm going to do this movie about Richard Simmons. He's fucking alive.
Right.
Like, you actually don't have the legal ability to do that.
Because Richard came out against it. And then I think released another statement saying, okay, do whatever you want, but saying still that he didn't give permission for whatever they were doing.
It's a mess.
We should, I don't know if this is a programming note, but it is definitely important to the listeners. We threw to you last week, we wanted you to name the first half of our broadcast. Our podcast is called Fixing Famous People because at its core, in the second half of it, we fix a famous person. But we do, what, for lack of a better term, are hot topics for the first half, and we wanted a clever name. And we do have 2 finalists that we would like you all to vote on. And I'm not going to tell you the names of the listeners who submitted these because I don't want anyone to be biased. We'll reveal the names after the person wins. The first one is called The Prefix, which we think is incredibly clever because the show is about fixing. And this is before the fix. The Prefix. The second candidate.
You can't even say it without laughing.
You can do it.
The second candidate, Clit Chat.
Clit Chat. Obviously a takeoff on Chit Chat and our obsession with all things clit. So that feels like a Sophie's choice. I do have a favorite of the 2, which I will not reveal. I think that you do as well.
I do.
But we are curious. Please go to our Fixing Famous People Insta page where you will get a poll, which you can shove up your ass and then vote for one of the 2 options we've just given you.
You're such an idiot.
Correct.
Okay. What else do we got?
I mean, I could talk about Rupert Murdoch being engaged, but I want to eat dinner, so I don't think I will.
No, thank you. Goodbye.
Wait, did you see Sharon Osbourne on Celebrity Big Brother in the UK? Like blasting James Corden?
No. Saying what?
First of all, Sharon Osbourne, I don't know how she's even well enough to appear
How is
on
she
Celebrity
alive?
Big
That's what,
Brother.
like, hasn't she been through enough? Like, how is she still standing? Honestly,
I don't know. But she was in a conversation with someone.
Wasn't she like, remember when she was like, I'm divorcing Ozzy? And I like, remember she like came on, what was it called? The Chat or something?
Yeah, the talk.
The talk. The talk. And remember she came out with her like lemonade glass and she was like, I'm like Beyonce, like lemonade, like he cheated on me. But remember that? And then she was like leaving him. And she was like, I'm like not going to be with him anymore. Now they like all are on some fucking podcast together, like talking about nothing.
He doesn't. Right? I don't think he's not well enough for her to leave him.
That's what I'm just saying. Like she made a whole thing about how she was like, I'm like taking back my life. And now they like are all together every day.
She needed a moment. That's who should do the Ozempic documentary, not Oprah Winfrey. That I want to hear from her because she can't even gain weight now because she took too much of it. That's who should do it. But anyway, she's on Celebrity Big Brother and she was talking with someone else in the house and then started talking about James Corden and what how well he played the LA game and what a name dropper he is and that she can't stand him.
No, really?
Yeah, because she said one time I went up to him and I said, you have nice shoes. And he said, thank you. They're Stella McCartney. And she said, I didn't ask you that. I just wanted you to know that you had nice shoes. But she used that as an example of him just being sort of a hideous individual who came to America and America'd it up.
That's very rich coming from someone who like many people have come forward to say that she was an absolute monster to them.
Monster. In my decades of show business, I would say of this, I've never worked with her, but I know many people who have. Absolute top 5 nightmares. Her.
Yeah. So that's rich coming from her.
Like not just being late to work, but like not showing up.
Yeah. And then being, yep, I'm sure. Moving right along.
I mean, a life that I wish I never remember. That out as well. Blah, blah, blah. That's it. I mean, the only other interesting things happening are Jim Parsons and Mayim Bialik reuniting for the Young Sheldon finale, which means there's really nothing else interesting.
Yeah, truly. If that's supposed to be news, NOOZ, then it's bleak.
I'm only interested in that if their characters show up, look at each other and say, can we acknowledge that we're both gay and then fade to black? And that's it. Why not?
Also, like, who cares?
Also, isn't young Sheldon like 60 years old now? Isn't he being played by John
forever? That's when I was watching the Avatar show. I was like, the remake of Avatar, The Last Airbender on Netflix, the live action. I was like, okay, he's really young. So they like have to do more seasons because they need to shoot it like right now. Because like, if it's 2 years from now, he's going to look like a completely different person.
Right.
And so I was like, and they like have renewed it for 2 more seasons, good or bad. Like if it's good or bad, like, they renewed it immediately because it got so many views so quickly. And I was like, well, thank God, because they like have to do it. Because if not, he's going to be like 15 the next time a season comes out. It's going to be like the Stranger Things kids who are now like completely through puberty and are like,
for my generation, it was
beards.
Like 90210, where like Gabrielle Carteris celebrated her 65th birthday while also being a junior in high school. It was fantastic. And the second thing is, thank you all so much for listening and telling your friends about our podcast. The last 2 weeks, we have set small records in listenership here, and we are super duper, truly, sincerely excited about how this podcast is growing, with the only marketing being all of you telling everyone about it.
For real.
We love you, and we are truly grateful and just excited for this to keep growing and doing fun shit. And Chris was surprised last night on Instagram when I revealed that next year there will be a Fixing Famous People Oscar party. I don't know if we discussed it, but I announced it, so now it has to happen.
We didn't, so.
It'll be at Chris's apartment. And that's it. We'll take a short break and then get into the fix.
We'll get right back to the greatest show on earth.
Oh, wait, we're not fixing anyone today. That's right. This is a special broadcast because our awards correspondent, Rebecca Bregman, will be here to recap the Academy Awards. That drum roll ended sooner than I thought. One more time. It's the Fixing Famous People Oscar recap.
The fact
can we subtitle this episode "Goodbye, Bradley Cooper"? Goodbye.
Please.
The fact that we don't put that in the actual edit of the show and we just simply record it from your phone to the microphone from far away is amazing.
It's the
And I'm not
only thing
changing it.
Siri does
I'm not
properly.
changing it. I'm not changing it. No.
You should. It's what sets us apart from the other better known pop culture podcasts. It's the trash level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're better.
People, you know her, you love her. Rebecca Bregman, our officials Oscar correspondent, is with us.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here as always.
Now, Rebecca and I watched the Oscars together.
Yes.
Interesting.
And
we
have
I'm
a lot.
going to be ganged up on for the next 45 minutes because your opinions are frozen solid together.
I think we'll align on a lot, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like you're going to like what we're putting down.
Yeah.
Where to begin? Why don't we just start off very basically for everybody? What were your general thoughts about the evening? Let's go one by one. Chris, how about we start with you?
Rebecca and I said very understated, classic fashion-wise, and I loved it. Loved it. Like,
off to a good start.
Very few people being ridiculous on purpose.
Yep.
Very few, like, I need all the attention kind of a thing. Like, very much, we said this about the Grammys, like, very much like, I am here to, like, do this thing, and that is what it is. And I don't need it to be like a viral meme of this, and that. It really was like, we're at an award show. We're here to do an award show. We're dressed for an award show.
Right.
Here we are.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I feel like they fixed themselves, but depending on what the numbers are eventually, that will all go out the window and everyone will start tearing apart what they saw. But I watched with a small group of people and we were thoroughly entertained from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
I think moving up the start time was a stroke of genius.
Genius. I was
Rebecca left my house at 10:30.
I was like, this is the best night of my life, right?
Yeah.
Did you fuck your Uber driver? Tell us everything. It couldn't have just been from the show.
His name was Tony, and he was playing CBS FM, which now the classics are 80s songs. So I walked into my Uber with Walking on Sunshine playing. So
and then you did.
And
Walk
then I
on
fucked
Sunshine.
him. And then
Congratulations, Tony.
Thank
you won
you.
the Oscar last night.
He did. I agree with Chris. Yes. The earlier time is great. What I said was if the fucking Super Bowl can start at 6:30, like, I don't want to be like that person, but our Super Bowl could also start a little bit earlier. Like, why do we need that? Yeah.
Sure. It was great.
Yeah.
It was, I thought it was paced really well.
Yes.
Which should move us into our next topic. Let's talk about our ebullient host, Jimmy Kimmel. I thought he did a really good job.
I thought he did a great job.
He's safe.
Unlike
He's a
Trump
safe.
thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought he did great. And he was like funny and cutting. Like he was, a lot of those jokes were really mean and like in the funniest way. Like I thought they were hilarious, but he was slamming Hollywood and it was funny. It was appropriate and it was good enough. And it wasn't, let me try to be really funny. It was just like, here are my jokes that I'm doing. Boom, 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 boom.
He knew that because he's a host and he knows what a host's job is. Like if he wants to be polarizing, he has his own television show to do that. Could I have done without Guillermo and his tequila moment? Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
That was a bathroom break. But
I don't think
great.
ABC needed it, right? They gave them probably $1 million.
How much money do you think Don Julio paid for that?
Right, which we didn't realize until the commercial break after. And they were like, I was like,
I
had no idea.
Oh my God.
No, Dominic, I literally went, Rebecca, how much money do you think they paid for this? Because he said, what are we cheersing with? And he goes, Don Julio. I go, that's a trade out if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
And then that commercial flew right up there for Don Julio 70.
100%. It was smart.
Yeah,
those little bottles that he was holding up with of that really nice Don Julio that's in that brown bottle. That was cute. I was like, I want one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was, they need one of those cutesy wootsy moments with the crowd. They always have to do that, which I think is fine because we love to see celebrities just like us, blah, 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 which was great. And I think, he uses a lot of his late night writers. There's a lot of gay people on his staff, which I love because they just have like the history of Hollywood and they can be cutting and they can be biting. And I thought he was good. He's a host. He's a good host.
He was great. He does have a lot of gay writers. Louis Vertel is one of his writers. And you can tell because everything was just topical enough without being divisive, which is what it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be.
Anything divisive was delivered in some of the acceptance speeches. That's also how it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
You know, put it all on Jane Fonda or whoever this year's Jane
Sean
Fonda
Penn.
was.
Sean Penn.
That's it.
What did Sean Penn say one year, which was like something about his Mystic River Oscar, blah, blah, blah. And also there was no weapons of mass destruction. I told you so.
All
like
of that.
It's all of that. Yeah.
Well, Sean Penn actually went over there to look for them himself. So that's like, he's a separate story.
That is, yes.
And doesn't he own Fidel Castro's corpse or something like that?
Wait, no. Speaking of, in the middle, Rebecca did the classic Rebecca Bregman in the middle as, what's his name, Guillermo was toasting to Charlize Theron. Rebecca turns to me and goes, didn't Charlize Theron's mom kill her dad? And I was like, yes. I'm sure that she did since you're saying this now. And then we Googled it and it was true.
Yes,
she did shoot him in like a self-defense.
Yes, that's why Charlize is so beautiful. It's all some sort of satanic verse and no one knows anything about it. But like, you know, no one who goes through that much trauma looks like Charlize Theron unless a deal was made with the underworld. So good on you. And she's got an Oscar.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. They did not at all, other than the best thing ever. The best shot of the whole night is when that dog from Anatomy of a Fall was there and they were making its paws clap for the winners.
Yes.
That was the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Other than that, like they didn't do anything like crazy. Like
the only missteps, if he even had any, were I'm sure that Robert Downey Jr. was in on it, but the Robert Downey Jr. drug jokes in the monologue, I thought there were too many. It was like, okay, because I knew that Robert Downey Jr. was going to win and get up there and talk about it himself. Right. So I almost was like, Jimmy, let him tell the drug jokes. Like, don't go too in. And I was glad that we can call him RDJ here, can we not? I was glad that RDJ got up there and did it self-effacingly. I thought was fantastic. But I thought Jimmy Kimmel was so good and I thought the show was so good that I was able to decide who I would block moving forward on Twitter and whose opinions actually mattered. Like anyone who was like, oh, Jimmy Kimmel was a safe choice, or I guess if no one exciting was available, I just blocked them because they didn't understand who was supposed to host the Academy Awards. Tila Tequila. I mean, you want someone who's going to move the shit along and you want it to be in reverence of motion pictures.
Yes.
You need an anchor in the storm a la Ryan Seacrest on New Year's Eve. Like you need someone that's like, I am simply here to tell funny jokes that are pre-written and then move it along.
And Jimmy was even better than Ryan in that respect because he did give a little edge like Steve Martin does, like Amy and Tina do.
Thought it was funny.
Like everybody, he was great. I thought he was really great.
I thought it was funny. I thought he appropriately called out like that Barbie wasn't nominated for like he gave into the things that we wanted him to say but then also did his own thing. And I felt I'm almost not cracking any jokes about it because it's like there wasn't anything to make fun of. I actually really
because they've already been cracked too.
Yeah,
right. You know, like he was aware of the statute of limitations on how shocked someone was supposed to be.
Yeah.
The Trump bit at the end, the producers of the show actually, when they found out that they were ending early, Jimmy was the one who said, oh, I'm going to read this tweet from him. And the producers asked him not to. And he said no. Oh. So that was his decision individually to do that and was maybe the moment of the night and it didn't even feel thirsty to me because he was reading word for word what a president of the United States had to say about an award show that in the past he would say he'd never watch.
Right.
We won't repeat the statement here. No matter how you feel politically, it was an unhinged paragraph.
It was like early 2016 Twitter for him is what it was. It was
bizarre.
It was
like
pretty
baby's first opinion. Like it was just so give the Academy Awards to the people who deserve them. Okay, well, can you announce who won them tonight then if you're so certain about it? Does that mean he was a Greta Gerwig fan? Like what was the hidden message?
Yeah. He's a huge Barbie fan. We know that.
As far as the awards themselves, for anyone who cares, and if you're listening to this podcast, you probably at least 30% care. Oppenheimer won 7, Poor Things won 4, Zone of Interest 2, and then anyone else who won anything won 1. Barbie for Best Song, American Fiction for Screenplay, Anatomy of a Fall for Screenplay, which was a bit of a surprise, Holdovers for Supporting Actress. Billie Eilish, by the way, is the youngest person to ever win 2 Academy Awards.
It's insane.
I will say, deservedly so. I thought it was the best song. Who are they going to give it to? Fucking Becky G, Eva Longoria for the Flamin' Hot Cheetos movie.
Was even nominated. There was a slight argument at my party about the Native American song that played where people were arguing this is not an original song, to which I was like, how the fuck would you know? How on earth do you know when this was written?
Yes.
How dare you?
Very true.
How dare you?
That is very true. How dare they? The cast of Naiad.
There were others there besides the cast of Naiad because I don't want them doxxed from the listeners of this podcast. Other people there were absolutely convinced that Jean-Baptiste is just installed at all award shows, wouldn't even listen to the song because he just won too much shit. I was like, I don't know the movie that that song was nominated for. It was a Netflix documentary, right?
I think it was a doc about him. I think it was a doc about him.
He was a little sharp a little flat the whole song.
He's the new John Legend. You know what I mean? Like
Also, in the right wig, Jean-Baptiste is venerated actress CCH Pounder.
Oh my God,
I will take this. I will die with this information.
Absolutely,
I will argue to my death about it.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no, I'm telling, Google him, put a wig on him. It's CCH.
The award of Angelina Jolie, whatever we're going to call the award where Angelina Jolie and her brother have sex. Is Phineas and Billy are 100%.
Rebecca kept going when they would be up there when they were either performing or when they got their awards. So Rebecca would turn to me because she goes, "Can you believe that they're fucking?" And everyone else at my house was like, "What?" And then we were like, "No, we're joking.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah. The Angelina Jolie award, Angelina Jolie and what is his name? What was his name?
James DeHaven.
Yeah,
or James Haven or DeHaven. It's one
something like that. Misbehavin'.
That
award goes to Billie Eilish and Phineas.
Yeah, and they be fucking.
Yeah, they be fucking award. Mm-hmm. The I'm having incest with my brother award goes to Billie.
Issa Rae won the Angelina Jolie Visual Award for that thigh-high slit.
She sure did.
She rocked. She looked amazing.
Knockout.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing her on enough best dressed lists in the past few days. She, to me, was.
Okay, before we get to best dressed, I feel like we should go there next. Before we do that, I need to ask you both a question, and I need you to look deep in your hearts, and I need you to think, and then I need you to give me an answer. Why on earth did Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro not have ads at the Oscars? Why did I not hear?
They did have ads.
Ozempic, because why did I not see that?
Why waste the money when Jesse Plemons now looks like Callista Flockhart? No need. No one needed to scream it like Don Julio at this fucking thing. Everybody was in. I feel like Divine Joy Randolph and Melissa McCarthy walked into that room and they were like, "Hi, am I at the right fucking party? We're built like normal people." It was crazy. Not just women, by the way. Definitely not just women.
Yeah. Definitely not. And I mean, was Oprah there just filming
I
for
think
the
she's
doc?
finally taken so much of it that she passed out. She might have blown away like Thanos style at this point, like dust.
No, but it was even thin people. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like there were people's arms that were like out of control and not in the good Lupita Nyong'o way.
Yes.
Well, since we are like meshing topics like that, I have to talk about Emily Blunt's dress because it was a basket.
You hated it. Yeah, you hated it.
Did she lose 3 pounds that day after her last fitting? And she was sitting there and some queen at my party was arguing, well, it's just because she's sitting back. And then she presented and we said, no, it's not.
No, that was the style.
That was the style. It was her and Florence Pugh had the same.
I kind of liked it. I thought it was different. It was different.
It was a robot.
It was too robotic for me. It was too distracting. I loved Emma Stone's dress.
Yeah,
I think Emma Stone was best dressed. That my best dressed is Emma Stone. I think it was
her up there.
It was perfect. It was
for her.
Beautiful. It kind of reminded me of something she wore on Poor Things, but not really. Yeah. And then the necklace. And we said this when Rebecca and I were watching. They're back to just like classic, nice dress, a beautiful piece of jewelry, and like cute hair. and like normal makeup. Like they were collectively were like, we're not doing this for TikTok this year.
Yeah.
Like we're not doing this for like someone's Instagram
because at
story
a
about
point, it's what can you do? You know,
but like the last couple of years, it was that the champagne carpet. Have we forgotten? That had like twigs on it.
Yeah, all right.
I think they just maxed out. I think they
were like,
out.
no, we're just doing a show. We're just doing
Timothy
an
Chalamet last year. Was it last year with the blazer and no shirt? It's just like, what are we? Where do we go from here? Where I just wear pants.
Right. Yeah. Was he even there? He wasn't there, right?
He wasn't. He's still hiding because of Wonka.
Gotcha.
But Slash showed up. Looking like Wonka's grandfather when he performed on the Ken song.
And looking exactly the same as he always has.
I mean,
I, in one of my Insta stories, said, oh my God, is that Wonka's grandfather as an actual joke? And someone wrote me, please tell me you know that that's Slash.
Oh God, of course. Yeah. You're like, I grew up
you
in
know
Long
who you
Island.
are. You know who you are and how dare you. How dare you.
How dare you.
How dare you.
How dare you.
Best dressed, though, in all seriousness, John Cena. Let's just
wait, you know what my theory is? Here's my theory. Wait, this is my theory. I think they asked what is his name? Barry Kenya or whatever his last name is.
From Saltburn.
That they asked the guy from Saltburn to do it and he was like, no.
Is this substantiated? Because it
makes sense. Because he did it for the like, what was it, Variety or Vanity Fair, like that video where they were all dressed like stuff and then he was naked. And then they were like, do it again. And I think he was like, no. Like I think he was like,
if he did, he might have been like, fuck you didn't nominate the movie. And it's probably one of the 5, definitely more talked about than 8 of the 10 Best Picture nominees. 100%. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
John Cena was a success though. That
was funny. That was funny.
Trigger warning. This is a gross phrase. Mom, you want to lower the volume here. But my friend Adam texted me after John Cena left the stage and said, how many people across America do you think are Googling the term cum gutters right now?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Definitely. Yeah.
He's a slab of beef. I don't think I had any idea.
Yeah.
However, I mean, the men's hair during this award show, it was like just for, speaking of sponsors, just for men should have been running ads. It was like hair dye on hair dye on hair dye on hair dye. Can we talk about that?
Can we talk? Well, we have to then talk about, hello, I'm Lenny. Do it. Do your voice, Chris. He does such a good mistro.
A bloody. Yeah, a bloody. A bloody bird. Yeah, hi.
I prefer my impersonations, which sounds like Squiggy from Lenny and Squiggy. Hello, I'm Lenny.
I'm Lenny.
No, but Rebecca and I were like all day tomorrow on the podcast. We're just gonna go. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Honey.
What did he do? There was
in blackface.
There's a lot of things.
He was in
blackface.
He
showed up,
and then Matthew McConaughey, who introduced him or gave him his intro for
what's up with Matthew.
Same thing. They both just were like, you know what? We're doing Al Jolson tonight. Like,
yeah. Speaking of Oompa Loompas, like speaking of Wonka, they were Trump level orange. Like it was,
they were a color.
And his mother rolls up in there looking like
obsessed.
Sue Mengers. Like I didn't even know what are you doing in the front row? Yes. What are you doing in the front row?
Sunglasses on the entire fucking.
You know what I mean?
No, we'll talk about it on Thursday. No, exactly. Sue Mengers. R.I.P. Bless up. Like I can't even.
Yeah.
Oh God, does he like cry all day today? Do you think he cried? Like he's devastated that he didn't win.
Obviously about him, you know what I think, but I do think he really wants to be Barbara Streisand.
Yeah.
He really 1,000 bajillion. Like we're gonna get that audiobook. We're gonna get his memoir. He's gonna be I love the color green. Like he wants
I love the color orange and
orange.
Sienna.
You know who else wants to be Barbara Streisand? Barbara Streisand.
Yeah.
Because they never nominated her. They just gave her. These award shows really fuck with the heads of people who get everything they want, where it's just like, and look, we egg this on too, because we could have a serious 9-hour talk about why Beyonce, who has won more Grammys than any person in history.
Yes.
None of it matters unless she gets Album of the Year, which isn't true. And you know, Bradley Cooper, you've been nominated 12 times. You know who needs an Oscar before you? Glenn Close. Sit the fuck down, Bradley Cooper.
Yes.
Goodbye. You're Lenny. That's it. He did himself such a disservice during this campaign season. I know that this was a passion project for him. And what I've seen of the movie, because I can't get through it,
Dominic,
I am aware of what's good about it. I just can't sit through it.
I'm not sure I'm aware what's good about it because I watched it and was like, what the fuck is this?
Carrie Mulligan. That's her name,
it.
right?
Yes,
But
is great.
She was great.
This
Carrie
is the
Mulligan
thing.
was great. The music that was Leonard Bernstein's music was great, but it was one of the most Prince of Tides was a tad overacted, but I loved it, right? Like, great
people.
movie.
I love people. I need them around me all the time.
Yeah.
I love
It's
people.
fine. It's fine. When he's making out with that boy in the hallway, it's
Oh my
fine.
God.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
Don't worry. It's fine.
Honey.
I know.
Honey,
Because
honey.
Bradley Cooper not only made me hate Bradley Cooper, he made me hate Leonard Bernstein,
I know.
too, on
Yeah.
top
I know.
of it. It's,
I know.
I think he's done the legacy a disservice.
A disservice.
Davine Joy Randolph, what a wonderful, expected
I was kind of crying
moment.
during her speech.
I was
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I was too.
Because you know that she did have a hard road. You just know it.
I didn't know that, but I certainly wouldn't question it. Because based on how she was acting when she won that award, I was like, you could tell. You could tell that it was a long road there.
that the fuckers in Hollywood were like, there's two people who could be a bigger black woman and it's not you, and there's only like space for two people.
100%.
And
here they are.
that.
It's this person and this person
and it's never going to be you. And so it's just wonderful. And I hope it's not the curse of the curse of the best supporting actress,
it shouldn't be. And I'll tell you, at the party I was at, we informed many people that she was the police officer from Only Murders in the Building, and they didn't realize that.
Oh, I love that.
They fell down. And that's a great actress. You know what I mean? Because they knew and loved that character, and they also loved The Holdovers, and they just thought, holy shit, that's wonderful. Same thing with Sandra Hüller. I mean, and not a lot of people at my party saw Zone of Interest, but some people had seen it and not realized it was the same actress. It said, holy shit, she's
great.
I bet she'll be around for a little while. She'll be like this sort of the new millennium Marion Cotillard, even though Marion Cotillard is of this millennium. She'll be this decade's Marion.
Yeah, no, she
Cotillard.
is like where, yeah. She could do that. She was great. There were so many movies that I loved, and then so many that I was like, this is a piece of fucking horse shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like Maestro to me was like, can we talk about just the movies really quickly and like our opinions?
You are, I could see the drool dripping from you. Just go for it.
No,
kill him.
it's like,
go kill Bradley Cooper.
I was like, didn't need to see this. Like, this has no point. There's no point of this movie.
I would have liked it so much better too if it was more like, I mean, I'm a huge Mrs. Maisel fan. Like if it was more like, also this is New York at this time, or it was, oh God, that's what it was.
And this was for many movies, including Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon. Like, this movie is about everything and yet also nothing. Like, there was so many different through lines, and it was like, well, I just need you to like have one of them pan out during the movie. Like, it was about him being gay. Then it was about him being a performer. Then it was about his family. Then it was about her. Then it was about cancer. Then it was about it was just like, and none of them it was actually not about any of those things.
No, because it was a movie about winning an Oscar. It was like AI wrote a script that said, what things can I do here? I'm surprised they didn't invent a disability or change his race halfway through the movie. Or, you know what I mean? Like, just, he changed his race at the awards.
Yes.
Well, he did. Yeah. They did change his race in the movie. At the end, he's like, he's blacker than he was on the fucking red carpet.
Let's move down the award list. RDJ, loved his speech. Loved that he wasn't pretending to be anything other than a lifelong movie star when he got up there. He clutched that thing. He held his hands up. Not everyone can do that. RDJ can do it because this was fuck, he's okay. And he's still good. And he's got an Oscar.
Yeah.
And I'm happy. I'm just happy that he got it. There wasn't anyone else in the category that I felt was snubbed because RDJ won his award. I thought he was great in Oppenheimer and was unlike any other character that he'd played before. And I was happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm a person who likes movie stars who don't get on my nerves. And I'm happy when they win. I was happy when Brad Pitt won for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Hollywood's Nest or whatever the fuck the name of that movie was. Loved it.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Did he win?
Yes, Once Upon a Time in My Cuckoo's Nest. Yep.
I loved that. I agree with you. And I think it's, some people forget like Chaplin, like they think of him only as Iron Man now. And his range. Right before I went to Chris's, I turned on the old television and Less Than Zero was on. Terrible movie, but like like RDJ, 80s RDJ, so good. He was, I thought, a heartthrob. I loved him when I was younger. And he just went on to like a horrible drug addict, horrible problems, horrible like Hollywood bad boy, turned his life around. So successful now. Just,
and love that he credits his wife for so much of that and has for years, by the way. That wasn't like an award show thing. This was like, I wouldn't say calculated, but this is how someone like that wins an Oscar. You know what I mean? It's like he's done a couple of passion projects. He was a heartthrob and a child star, had lots of problems. Then you thought he turned it around by being the biggest superhero in all of cinematic history, and then took a supporting role in this mammoth undertaking. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Kind of like what Brad Pitt did as well. Maybe not. His troubles were more marital than they were substance, but
see episode fill in the blank for episode Fixing Famous People,
and
where
like 5 future episodes, I'm sure. Like he's not done yet.
I mean, I think you said it, Chris. You said, I liked Oppenheimer. I saw it in the theaters, which I actually think it was gorgeous in theaters.
Yeah.
And for the theater, I thought Killers was very long. I also saw that in the theater though, so that might have helped. But The Holdovers and American Fiction and even Zone of Interest, Zone of Interest might be a little bit separate, but American Fiction and The Holdovers, just movies. Like you were like,
simply movies,
simply a movie, simply this happened, that happened, this happened, that happened, and then the end of the movie. And
here's a scene at the beginning that's going to set up what will happen in this film.
Yes.
We then see many things happen. And then at the end, we then see the resolution of that thing that was set up at the beginning of the film, which you cannot say for Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, blah, blah, blah. Like there was hours of my life wasted watching half these movies that I was like, why was this 3 hours long? Why was this? And when that guy that won for American Fiction got up and was like,
Jefferson.
Maybe just think about a $10 million movie that could be a good movie, not a $200 million movie. I was like, yes. Like,
it was beautiful. Yeah.
American Fiction was one of my favorite movies of the Best Picture nominees because simply it was just a movie. And in theory, if we had a budget big enough, the three of us could have made that movie. There wasn't CGI, boats going through space. There wasn't stunt work that we could never do. It truly was simply a film that someone filmed and it was good.
And The Holdovers was sort of a throwbacky late 60s, 70s movie, which, it's always just like a simple interior thing happening.
What he's calling for too is it's like a reimagining of what the industry is supposed to be, because obviously it is these tentpole movies are keeping the studios in business, and he's just asking them to rethink. I don't think he doesn't want any sort of event movies, but it can't just be all event movies. And a lot of that has to do with publicity and marketing as well. The Holdovers should have a big marketing budget just like Oppenheimer should. And that's sort of what the point is, because you still need your Lawrence of Arabia's and Gone with the Winds.
Sure.
And Oppenheimer's in that category. I mean, a big sweeping epic.
You miss your Harold and Maude's and even Lost in Translation, something like that, right?
Yeah.
We still need those. You feel something when you're watching Oppenheimer. You're like, rage because it's long, but also
mainly that.
Fuck, we're horrible humans. But I miss just crying, in The Holdovers, the sadness in that. American Fiction was funnier than we thought it was going to be, and we're about a family. And I miss a small, I know you didn't like Past Lives, Dom, but I really liked it. And I thought that also was a very tiny movie, but that was a very small interior lives, movie. And
and probably a movie that had scenes where there was a beginning of a scene and then the middle of a scene and then the end of a scene.
Yes. Yeah.
Every one of the big movies, when I tell you, it's you're flying into the scene halfway through it already being done. And then you see the one thing that they want you to take from the scene. And then you're already into the middle of another scene.
It's also an attack on your senses sometimes.
Yes. I'm so over it. I'm just, can a movie just be a movie? I don't even know. I don't know. I know I'm pissing on everything, but Oppenheimer to me, I was I wanted someone to count the scenes. This had 200 scenes.
Nolan. Yeah. Yeah.
There were 200 scenes and most of them had one line.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a history lesson for sure.
Yeah.
More history lesson than cinematic experience, probably. But Rebecca, you just miss Woody Allen. I don't know how to tell you this, but you do.
I know I do.
That's it.
Yeah, she does.
I do. 90 minutes, baby. 90 minutes.
Everything you're describing, I'm just thinking interiors, Hannah and her sisters, even Midnight in Paris, which is a masterpiece. It's like
Blue Jasmine when she's like sitting on that bench at the end smoking a cigarette and like her like hand is shaking. Yeah.
I just want some Jew's Upper West Side apartment filled with books and like film that with Michael Caine.
Gave you Leonard Bernstein, bitch. What more do you want?
No.
He didn't do it. They didn't do it right.
I mean, remember Carol? Like, it was just like
that movie that operated under the delusion that lesbians wear pastels. Yes, I remember it very well.
Loved it. Like they meet, they want to fuck each other, they fuck each other, they break up, and then at the end, you know that they get back together. Like, period. Yeah. Like, was everyone beautiful in it? Yes. Was it fun? Yes. Like that was just a movie.
Great gowns, great gowns.
Carol, I just think about my affinity for old timey department stores.
Yeah,
just
That's why I like the holdovers, because I was like, oh, they're in like a dorm and it's old and like there's like a radiator and they're like in the, you know what I mean? Like
a dusty bar.
And like they all had to sleep in like the same room. And like I was like, oh, haha. Like it was so good because of that. Because it wasn't trying to be everything and this and talking about blank and it was just simply a movie.
And I think, I mean, I know we're going to go long, sorry, but like last year's Everything Everywhere All at Once, which was an assault on your senses, but at least did it very, 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 very differently.
And that was the point of the movie.
It was so well done in a way that they, flipped the script a bit. So, it can be done, but we'll see. I think I saw Sean Fennessy, who is on the Ringer podcast. I think it was Sean Fennessy, tweeted something like how excited he was for the upcoming movies. He said, at this time last year, we hadn't even discussed Anatomy of a Fall, and look at it now. And I was like, yeah, that's a beautiful tweet. Like, I want to be excited about movies that are coming out. I love movies as much as the two of you. And it's like exciting when there is a movie like Anatomy of a Fall or like Zone of Interest that you hadn't really heard about and then garners all this attention. And that I think is the beauty of the Oscars. Definitely.
I will say of the 10, I think that the actual best picture of the year was Zone of Interest. To be honest with you. I think that was in emotionally, technically, I thought it was at least of the 10. And I haven't really thought beyond that.
Yeah.
But it was good. And I was really happy to hear, to witness it winning best sound.
I was just going to say that.
Over Oppenheimer, because without giving too much away about Zone of Interest, it's like the sound in the movie is the most important part. And it was great. And the performances are great. A lot of people hate it for what you would consider obvious reasons. I personally don't think they understood the point of the movie, but highly recommend. Highly recommend. Speaking of looking forward to movies, though, I know Christopher is not going to like this, but Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande coming out in the colors of their characters, I'm like, this is starting now?
Oh, yeah. Dominic, what do you mean?
Done.
Of course it is.
I'm done.
Of course it is.
I'm already over it. Like, I want to be excited for this, and I am officially not, because I don't want to hear about this for the next 9 months. I do not.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh no, Dominic, it's the election and this. Like, that's what we're.
Jesus Christ. I don't want to hear that.
But it is. That's the truth of our lives.
God, you're right.
It's the election and Wicked. And the fact that the two of them came out in what I thought was two extremely stunning dresses. I think Cynthia Erivo should be the top of every single person's list. I thought the dress was absolutely divine. Like, it was out of control how beautiful that dress was. But they were so over the top and everyone else was so not. You can just tell that they've been on a movie set with like the craziest sets ever for like the last 7 months. It
wasn't just on the nose. It was on a nose that was punched so hard that it was the size of Hello Lenny's prosthetic.
Yes.
Cynthia Erivo, absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah.
Ariana Grande, I don't know if she looked like she was crawling out of an actual asshole or into the Sarlacc pit. Yeah. That dress, I couldn't do it. And I didn't know what she wasn't acting like Ariana Grande to me. She was acting like some sort of Ariana Galinda hybrid.
Something's wrong. She has Austin Butler disease. She has Austin Butler disease.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
Did she catch that from SpongeBob SquarePants? It's like, how do you get that?
No, but she was kind of like doing half Glinda. Like
a little bit. And
are
also,
you a good witch or a bad witch? Like she was
way,
doing a little. Yeah.
Can we just, as a blanket statement, talk about how many people show up to these shows without their spouses or partners?
Yeah.
Has Eva Mendes ever walked a red carpet with Ryan Gosling?
Rebecca, what did I say?
She?
Yeah.
I was like, where is Eva Mendes?
Where's Eva Mendes?
Is Eva Mendes alive?
Is she with Shelley at this point?
Is she with Shelley and Leah Remini?
She's just has no interest, I guess, in public life.
None.
Where is Eva Mendes?
Maybe she saw Ryan's new cheek fillers and was like, I'm going to sit this one out, actually.
Yeah, she was like, I can't be seen next to this. Yeah.
I didn't even notice it until people in the room were like, please look at Ryan Gosling's face. I was like, oh, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
You know what was not whimsy was the interpretive dancers at the In Memoriam. That was a swing and a miss.
You know, Dom, that's my favorite part. They didn't fucking push in on the names.
Yeah,
so I'm like,
push in.
I need my readers. I'm like, I can't read fucking anything. Push in. And then there are interpretive dancers in front of it. No.
But then everyone that they couldn't fit, they just threw their names up at the end, just like that. I was like, wait, did you say Frances Sternhagen? Where are we going? What? Doesn't she get a full screen? I think cut it. It is something that no one's ever pleased with it. Ever.
You're right.
Either make it 40 minutes and honor every single person, or I'm going to say it, and this is terrible, but I want them to run the list by me, and if I don't know who these people are, they don't belong.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. Horrible. It's terrible. But you know what? When I die, I don't expect anyone to lobby and put me on the Emmy Awards for producing reality shows for 30 years. I don't. The household names, it's a group grief is what the In Memoriam is. And when you put up publicist, second harp on Maestro, like no one, these are all people that deserve respect, but privately.
Which, by the way, you have Andrea Bocelli singing his most favorite song. Like you don't need 20 interpretive dancers behind him dancing.
Yeah.
Like he's one of the most famous singers in the entire world. Like just let him perform.
Right.
Like this song that I know every word to and I have no idea what he's saying. Like, do you know what I mean? Like
I didn't even know he was there. I was looking at his son. I don't even, when they're together, Andrea Bocelli.
That's not a surprise, Dominic.
He's the one who should have done the naked bit instead of John Cena.
Yeah. But like, other than that being the mishap of the dancers, like them going through that hallway, which then was like they're walking into an active scene that someone else is doing. Like, what was that?
A bad idea is what it was. And I think they knew it instantly and they didn't have a backup plan. Like it just did not go the way that they wanted it to. I think one producer just thought it would be some sort of like very community moment, but instead it was like the president of the Academy turning around and saying hi to people who wanted nothing to do with her.
And didn't know who she was.
Didn't know who she was and didn't realize they were live in that hallway. It was a beautiful hallway.
When Billie Eilish was up against the wall and she was like scooting away. Like that was funny, but it was like embarrassing. You know what I mean? Like,
it was weird. It was weird. You know what else was weird and truly a great disappointment, and I won't hold it against anyone ever, was Melissa McCarthy and Octavia Spencer are semi-famously like best friends in real life.
Did that movie together?
I wanted them to be hilarious and it just fucking wasn't.
No.
It just didn't like,
I know.
And they kept going on with it and pretending it was improv. I'm like, this was not improv at all. What was great was Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling as the Barbenheimer War.
Yes.
That was maybe the best presentation of the night.
And that was what I hate the most is when they like pretend that they're going off script, but it's all scripted and it's terrible. That was an example of that working perfectly. Like they did it perfectly.
They were great.
Like, no one else during the night, and they didn't do it that many times.
No.
It was only a few, but everyone else did it terribly and they did it perfectly.
When Issa Rae and Rami Youssef came out there, and they were, I think they were presenting something for a short.
Live action
Issa
short.
Rae was like, so let's keep it that way. The nominees are, and that was their whole bit.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was really great.
Yeah. And then Wes Anderson wasn't there, and she's like, I'm keeping this.
She's like, you're not getting this. Yeah.
You're not getting this. Yeah. I love that.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Okay. What other thoughts?
Cillian Murphy. I mean, I'm happy for him. You know, it was, I'm not going to say it was my favorite performance ever, but it was, or my favorite performance of the year, but it wasn't an award that he wins and I'm like disgusted by it.
We kind of knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like we knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised, but there's no outrage over it. It's not but I just, stand by until I see him in a room with Rachel Maddow, I do not know that they are different people. Period. The end.
And for me, it's Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, Rebecca started calling him Tilda Swinton, even though they don't look anything alike, but it is the same vibration.
Well, because Rachel Maddow and Tilda Swinton look nothing alike, but they do both sort of look like Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
He might be shorter than me. He is a short man.
Really small when he was up there with all those people. Okay, what I loved is when they had the 5 people come out and tell about I remember when they did that, and it was when Gabourey Sidibe won for Precious.
Oh, okay.
And Oprah came out and talked about her, and I vividly remember that. They've done that before, and I really, for the most part, really liked they had 5 people come out and were because there was a lot of moments where it was like, I'm now passing the torch to you.
Yeah.
Like when Rita Moreno was like, America, like, and then got to sing America from West Side Story, and then told a speech and was like, that was truly like a beautiful moment and like you could see that America Ferrera was like extremely touched, and she was like, I am now giving this to you. You know what I mean? Like you are now carrying this torch. Like it was
very
beautiful.
Carefully produced by someone who loves movies and movie history.
Yes.
Because very few of them were a throwaway. And if the person presenting to each nominee wasn't an actual friend or mentor, you believe that they were. I mean, they just did a very good job selecting those past winners. They were all great. When those 5 actresses walked out at the end, I mean, I almost screamed myself.
Oh no, we were like, is Dominic dying? Like we texted you, we were like, are you freaking out?
If I had a second drink, I would have passed out. Like I wouldn't have been able to handle it. I somehow only had 1 drink the entire evening, mostly because Friday was an absolute disaster, which I'll talk about at a later date. But Jessica Lange being one of them, by the way, I'm going to get confirmation on this before this podcast is over. Someone sent me something today that the Hollywood Reporter, when Jessica Lange arrived, they tweeted that Joan Rivers had arrived on the red carpet at the Academy Awards.
I thought that was a joke. I saw it on Twitter, and I thought that was somebody had.
Is it a joke? Do we know if it's a joke?
It has to be a joke, right?
Because if it's not a joke, it's the reason that we should be afraid of AI, because that means AI is just doing facial rec and writing shit on their own. Yeah. Jessica Lange and Joan Rivers are not twins. They are both elderly, slight women with blonde hair around the same height. So you could see how someone squinting might think that. But Joan Rivers has been dead for quite some time.
Yeah, until you remember that one of them is alive and one of them is dead.
Yeah. One of them is dead, and were she alive, would have written the tweet from the red carpet, because that was literally her job.
Yeah.
So whoever thought that Jessica Lange was Joan Rivers, I want to say shame on you, but what I really want to do is smack you open-handed with a glove. Actually, I changed my mind. I want to smack you with a dueling glove. Dum-dums. Now, speaking of actresses, let's speak about the winner of Best Actress, Emma Stone, and how everyone the night of and the morning after is screaming about the injustice done to Lily Gladstone.
Oh, yeah.
I'm here to tell you officially, I'm the oldest person here. I'm the oldest person you know. I'm the oldest person on this planet. And I'm going to tell you that Lily Gladstone was not snubbed in any way. Lily Gladstone was only in 25% of Killers of the Flower Moon. I know it was 7 hours long, but still.
Yeah, 25% is still 3.5 hours. There you go.
There were many issues. She was not a lead actress in the film. Now, apparently it is based on a book or more than one book, and that character is the lead character in the book. And so the adaptation of the book apparently fucked her over and made her a supporting character.
Yeah, and guess why? Because Leonardo DiCaprio wanted to be in a fucking movie. That's
correct.
Correct. And as I read the book, and the book was really, really good, actually. It's a real story, and the person Leo is playing is a 26-year-old. Just so you get it. Just so you understand.
So someone the age of appropriately that he would date, right?
Yes.
Like someone he would date. That's what it is. Not
Rebecca,
him himself.
let me ask you this. When you read the book, did it take you less amount of time to read the book or to watch the film?
I mean, the book was more of a mystery. You had no idea.
Really?
You didn't know. And I didn't go to Wikipedia and read about the Osage murders beforehand. And I had no idea. I'm reading this book. I had no idea, are we allowed to spoil or no? I had no idea who
everyone knows.
Right. We didn't know that Leonardo DiCaprio we didn't know the husband was involved in the murders when I started reading the book.
That makes me want to read the book just to see how that unfolds.
The book was really interesting. It was really interesting and sad. And, obviously you get more history. And the person, the Leo, had just come back from, it was, post-World War I. And he had been at war. And he was a younger guy trying to just he was a fuck up trying to get a job. He's not 48 years old, 49 years old.
Right.
That. I mean, I guess I don't know what he was. Yeah. And it was interesting. And yes, Lily might have been better off as supporting, right?
I don't know if she would have won or fared better, but there was of course, we all understand the historical significance of having, and it is sort of shocking that no Native American has ever been nominated in that category. But Emma Stone and Poor Things is a marriage of role and movie, which a lot of people hate Poor Things, and I get it if you don't
I loved it.
Fable, whimsical.
I loved it.
This was an insane movie, mostly because of her performance. You don't even realize how good her performance is until the movie's 2/3 over, and you're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
She was a fucking infant 90 minutes ago, and now she's sort of like a wise ass teenager, and it's such a good performance that it not winning would have been a bigger injustice.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I called when we were sitting there. I said, Emma Stone is going to win because the people that really are voting on this know that she deserves. Emma Stone deserved to win the award, period.
And you know what? You know what you're right about is because the voting is anonymous, Chris, you're right.
Yeah.
They were like, this is
the best. This is the person that did the best job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not for nothing, Lily Gladstone did a great job, but there wasn't much in the movie for her to actually even do.
No. As we said last week, no, it was she is in the movie for a minute, then she starts to die, and she continues to die over the next 4 hours, which is something we all pretend to do on the subway to keep people away from us.
Yes.
It was not. There are many times when a supporting performance belongs in lead because it takes over the movie, like Hannibal Lecter, for example.
Yes.
He's also only in a third of that movie, but is the whole movie. She was not. It just wasn't that. It's nothing against her personally. She did a great job.
Yeah, she
There's
did a
new
job.
Hulu series. She's already got a million
I feel like
jobs.
she's gonna. Yeah, I feel like she's gonna be in
everything.
I feel like she's gonna be in everything, and she
not
should
as
be.
consolation prizes. She was good in the movie. It just wasn't holy
great.
shit, give her an Oscar. It just wasn't that. I thought Robert De Niro actually gave the best performance in that movie, which for me, for 20 years, he's been giving the same performance in everything. And to see him be sinister like this, I thought was really good. I don't know who he's married to now, but I mean, is he dating Kuvenjane Wallace at this point? Who is he with? Who is he with?
That girl
now?
that was next to him. That's the baby mama.
Yeah, she's 30. She's 30.
She's Black China 2.0.
It's insane.
Well, they have a toddler.
Well, while we're on him, we can talk about poor Al Pacino. Poor Al Pacino.
Do they keep doing
also
this?
a new dad. Also a new dad.
Why do they keep doing this?
But
they keep bringing out these people who are at death's door.
Stop it.
Truly.
Because I like that they do that. I just wish they'd stop fucking up. What they really need to do is bring Al Pacino and Faye Dunaway and Elizabeth Taylor's corpse out next year to present Best Picture.
I don't know if this is true, but somebody should verify this, that Michelle Pfeiffer was supposed to.
I believe that is true. Yep, I believe it's true. They were supposed to present together.
Out of Scarface.
And she could not because some family blah, blah, blah.
Oh, really? Okay.
He also, right before we started recording,
I was so nervous.
Released a statement saying that
he has a memoir, right?
Oh, I don't know.
That I saw that. I think he has a new memoir coming out. Yeah.
Oh God.
Is it sponsored by Don Julio?
It's called Sunny Boy. Did I make this up?
I don't think so.
I've never heard of that, but it doesn't mean it's not true. He released a statement that was I know there's a controversy about my just coming out and reading the winner, but that's what I was asked to do because they showed all 10 clips throughout the night and I was just supposed to come out and read the winner. I didn't mess up. I have reverence for the film community. I'm fucking Al Pacino, for God's sake.
Good.
Take a breath.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
When I was watching Killers of the Flower Moon, which by the way is the same length of time as The Return of the King, Lord of the Rings. Are we aware? Think about all the things that happen in the final Lord of the Rings movie, and then think about all the things that happen in Killers of the Flower Moon, and just put those two movies side by side because they're the same length.
What happened to Gandalf?
That is not a Barbenheimer there.
No, it sure is not.
Lord of the Rings. No, that
is sure not. when I was watching Killers of the Flower Moon and I was looking at Robert De Niro, I was like, this is what Dominic thinks his neck looks like, and he is wrong.
Yes,
like
definitely.
his neck was like folded over, like
Wait, who? De Niro's?
De Niro's.
I don't remember his neck.
It looked really bad. I was like, this is what Dominic thinks his neck looks like, and it's not.
And it does not. Yeah.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Not thanks to that cream I bought you for your birthday.
I've been using all the creams actually. So I've sort of made my own industrial strength cream with all the creams that
like
people
putting
have
them all
me.
together, like extra strength. But think about like last year, other than Everything Everywhere All at Once, every other movie was like a campaign Oscar movie.
What? Give me some more.
Tar.
I forget. Tar. Yes.
All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
What else was last year? Oh, Women Talking.
Oh, of course.
You know what I mean? Like, like remember all those, like truly every other movie minus that was nominated for Best Picture was like, we are making this movie to do an Oscar campaign.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that this year. You know, we had some more in there that I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You know,
there were just so many little, before we wrap it up, there were so many little fun tidbits in the show, like Sean Lennon popping up there all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Wes Anderson winning an Oscar for a short. Like there were just like all these little fun entertainment tidbits.
Yeah.
It was a good old fashioned hootenanny as far as I was concerned.
I agree. And I think like what you were saying, like Anatomy winning for sound and
Zone. Anatomy didn't win for screenplay though.
Yes. Yeah. Anatomy winning for screenplay, Zone winning for sound, American Fiction winning for adapted. Like people had, you know, on my ballot at work, I just was like, went with the trades, and the trades were like Oppenheimer, Barbie, Poor Things. And it was more Poor Things, Oppenheimer. And then what you're saying, like sprinkled in here and there, different, interesting, fun things. And that's what it should be. Like the costumes, the this, the that, that's where you're going to get like sometimes some interesting upsets, if you will. But
right.
I love that. I actually love that if I like the movies, you know?
Yeah.
We kept screaming the whole night, the Academy hates Barbie, because the one award I did think Barbie had a real shot at was production design.
Totally same, yeah.
And
I know, but once you watched,
pull it off.
Once I watched Poor Things, I was like, oh
it's
no,
over.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not winning jack shit. Like
because Barbie sort of played off an already existing world and did a brilliant job. But Poor Things was the creation of like its own whimsical fable world, and it was just.
And you could see that with the people that would come up, and you know, the costume designers, the production designers. They just seemed, I love that. Like that. That is cinema.
The lady who won for best makeup gets up there. She's shiny. I mean, what's happening?
Yeah,
what's happening?
She's wearing that big sack dress and those big chunky like shoes. I loved it.
Yeah, yeah.
I had a fun night.
Yeah, I thought it was
fun. A fun night, and I loved that it was. We had a pasta bar.
We had a pasta bar.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, Chris made different pastas: a Caesar salad, shishito peppers. We had some prosecco. It was nice.
Yeah, we had a best time.
But I was with the cast of Naiad. We had Mexican tip to tail. It was fantastic. And then some other gay people brought dessert.
Of course.
It was brownies. One of the gay people saw Lou Diamond Phillips in the audience and screamed, I thought he was dead. And then we found out he thought that he had died in a plane crash, which is how his character in La Bamba died, who was a real person. Okay. And that brought the party to a hilarious standstill.
A screeching halt, I'm sure.
A hilarious standstill.
1956 or 58 or whatever it was.
I couldn't scream how dare you in enough languages at him, really.
Oh, guys, though, I'm not going to lie to you. Again, the dog clapping was the best thing. It was the best shot of the whole night. It was so funny. And when that dog was in that chair, I was like, that's amazing. I love this. And dare I say, that dog had the best performance of the year. When that dog was dead after it ate the aspirin, and then they had to pour the water in the dog's mouth, and then it threw up the aspirin, I was like, this is cinema. Yeah. This is cinema.
No, he studied with Strasberg. There's a whole thing about it in the Hollywood Reporter.
That dog deserves awards.
Yes.
I'm serious.
Emma Stone said at a pre-Oscar lunch, the dog was there and the dog played dead and everyone got concerned. And the dog did the thing where then it just like jumped back to life and everyone just started clapping in the room. The dog's an actor.
Yeah.
The dog's an actor.
Which means he'll be accused of sexual assault by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And he's probably on Ozempic.
Did you see the picture of the guy laying under the chair and he had the little dog hands that were clapping? Oh, it's amazing. It's like some guy like laying in the aisle, basically like holding the dog things up. It's great. I'll send it to you.
Oh, well, while we are here, by the way, I am reading this Hollywood Reporter article just came across. The Oscars have scored a post-pandemic high in the ratings.
My goodness.
19.5 million viewers, the most for any award show since 2020.
Aww,
what a high
note.
Frivolity is back, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, thank God. I hope this changes. Remember when they did it at like that train station?
Ugh.
Remember how bad that was?
I removed
and Gary Coleman
Eternal
was in the
Sunshine
locker.
That's where they left Shelley Miscavige. She's still there in one of those cages.
No, she's been missing since way before that, but sure. Oof. So guess what? You don't need to be a freak or like do all this weird shit or like be crazy to get viewers. You just need to deliver a good show.
Yeah.
Period.
And that's it.
That's it. We don't need to fix them because they're already fixed.
There you go.
Oh my God. We're so remiss. Last thing.
Okay.
Keeping it in. Vanessa Hudgens pregnant on the red carpet.
Yes.
In the words of Jennifer Lopez, when asked by her manager, do we need Vanessa Hudgens for anything? Jennifer Lopez said, for what? For what?
For what? And friends, we're selling For What the hat in the Fixing Famous People store. Go to Instagram.com/Fixing Famous People.
I wish.
For what? For what? Yep.
My goodness.
Yep.
Eva Longoria really thought she like deserved to be there too. Can we talk about that really quickly before we go? Like,
well, she did. She had a song.
She really was like, I am a filmmaker. Like she was like me, Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Yorgos and like who else? Greta.
Martin Scorsese.
Martin Scorsese, like peers.
Cheetos, the hot Cheetos talking story.
Peers, like just 5 peers. Like truly. Dear God.
Wait, Dom, your Instagram story about Cars for Kids, Becky G's performance, was that a Cars for Kids commercial?
It was a Cars for Kids commercial. It was as annoying. And especially because I saw her on the red carpet prior and she was like, it's going to burn the house down.
Yeah. And you're like, great.
Are you kidding me?
No, at all. And it was like half of one verse. Rebecca was like, I think that's an abbreviated version of the song.
Yeah. When you're performing with a group of children, don't ever start this off with me as like, you're going to see something you've never seen before. Because you know what? I've seen kids do things.
It's a small world
stage.
after all.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Also wear clothes. Like she had her like cooch and nipples out. Like I was like, you look like a hoe. Like wear clothing.
Someone at our party asked if Becky G's teeth were real because they didn't think it was possible because they were so white.
Well, they were
not.
I'm sure that they're not.
Yes.
I'm sure that they're not. Should I get veneers? Should Dominic and I both get veneers and then we can talk like this? Like when they don't fit in their mouth. Like I want that so badly.
You go first.
Okay. Rebecca Bregman, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I love it.
Where can people find you?
I have an illegal podcast with my stepdad. You can just Google my name and you can find it. It's very pump up the volume. I might get arrested and Chris might have to bail me out of jail.
Okay, thank you so much. Dominic, where can people find you?
You can find me at my website, domandterry.com. And also on Instagram at Dominic People. Chris, where can people find you?
You can
I don't know how to shut it up. Siri.
You can find me at the Krista Rosa. You can find the show at Fixing Famous People. You can find the Patreon at patreon.com/Fixing Famous People. I wish you both well. And as always, let's say it together. And then I have a few more.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Where's Shelley? And where's Eva Mendes? And where's Leah Remini? And where's Kate Middleton? Bye.